Starting with Doc Seismic. Now, he might look like just another crazy scientist, but don't be fooled. He's way more dangerous than people think. He's got these earthquake wristbands that let him shake the ground like he owns it, and on top of that, he's got an army of lava monsters ready to do his dirty work. When he first showed up in Invincible number 10, he actually beat Mark Grayson in their first fight. The only reason he lost was because his own blast backfired on him. Even after that, he kept on coming back, causing chaos and even capturing superheroes. Now, personality-wise, Doc Seismic is completely unhinged. Some say his brain got messed up from using his own earthquake tech too much. But that's the funny part. He acts like he's this super progressive guy. He's got a minor in women's studies and African dance, and he's always ranting about tearing down old world power structures. He even called Mount Rushmore a symbol of oppression while trying to destroy it. Speaking of Mount Rushmore, that was one of his biggest attacks. He tried to shake the monument to the ground, calling himself a new god. Invincible and Adam Eve stopped him, but not before he almost dropped Lincoln's face on a crowd. Luckily, Eve managed to damage his wristbands, causing him to fall into lava, though he somehow survived and came back stronger, now leading lava creatures. After that, he tried to take down the Washington Monument with his magma army, cracking it before getting thrown in jail. But he didn't stay there for long. His next move, a full-scale plan to take over the country. Despite being an old guy, Doc Seismic is tough. He's got brains, strength, and a habit of coming back when you least expect it. If you thought this guy was fun, wait till we get to the sequids in a little bit. Monster parasites? Bleh. Omni-Man changed Invincible forever. He wasn't just Mark Grayson's first real enemy, he was his dad. At first, Nolan Grayson seemed like the perfect hero. Strong, charming, and a loving family man. But underneath, he was hiding a terrible secret. He was actually a Viltrumite, an alien warrior sent to Earth not to protect it, but to conquer it. And when the truth finally came out, Mark tried to stop him. What followed was one of the most brutal fights ever. Omni-Man beat his own son within an inch of his life, shattering buildings and tearing through cities like they were nothing. And yet, at the last moment, when Mark told him that no matter what, he'd still have his dad in 500 years, something changed. Omni-Man left Earth, tears in his eyes, his mission abandoned. But here's the thing, Nolan wasn't just a ruthless conqueror. He truly believed in what he was doing. He thought weaker species needed to be ruled, the power meant control. He murdered heroes, wiped out civilizations, and even told Mark that his mother was just a pet. And yet, despite everything, his time on Earth softened him. He started to love his family. He struggled with what he'd done. Even in his fight with Mark, you could hear it. He was trying to convince himself as much as his son. And he wasn't just powerful, he was terrifyingly unstoppable. This guy could fly through galaxies, smash through mountains, and barely needed to breathe. His punches could destroy cities, and his body could survive almost everything. He was fast, strong, and nearly unkillable. But in the end, it wasn't his strength that changed him, it was love. Battle Beast is the most brutal warrior in the Invincible universe. He was once the protector of his own planet, but endless fighting turned him into something else, something terrifying. He became obsessed with battle, craving stronger and stronger opponents, not to win, but to die in a fight worthy of his strength. That's how dangerous he is. When he first showed up in Invincible number 19, he absolutely wrecked Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe. But he didn't kill a single one of them. Why? Because they weren't strong enough to be worth it. Battle Beast isn't always on the villain's side. He worked with a coalition of planets, but not because he cared about the cause. He just wanted an excuse to fight Viltrumites, the deadliest warriors in the galaxy. And he got his ultimate showdown, a brutal weeks-long fight against the Viltrumite ruler, Thrag. Battle Beast looks just as ferocious as he fights. He's a massive lion-like creature with white fur and thick braids. He wears a simple but deadly look. A black leotard, red shoulder pads, arm warmers, and boots. But it's not the outfit that makes him terrifying, it's the wild look in his eyes. Well, one thing is clear, his entire personality is built around one thing: battle. He lives for the thrill of combat, the challenge of fighting somebody who can match his strength. He doesn't just enjoy violence, he sees it as the ultimate truth. If you're weak, you're not worth his time. If you're strong, he'll fight you to the death with a smile. And he's got the power to back it up. Battle Beast is insanely strong, stronger than most Viltrumites. He swings a giant mace like it's nothing, moves at super speed, and takes insane amounts of damage without slowing down. His claws and fangs can tear through nearly anything, including Viltrumite flesh. On top of that, he's also a master fighter with a relentless, almost unstoppable combat style. The Viltrumites might be the biggest threat in Invincible, but they're not the only ones who keep coming back. These Sequids, creepy little squid-like aliens with one terrifying trick. They don't just invade planets, they invade minds. Once they latch onto a host, they take full control, turning that person into part of their hive mind. And once they're in control, they don't stop until they own everything. Mark first ran into them on Mars, where the shape-shifting Martians had kept them trapped for who knows how long. But during a doomed space mission, astronaut Russ Livingston got infected, and just like that, the Sequids had a free ride to Earth. And what did they do first? They conquered Mars for revenge, naturally. Then they set their sights on Earth, sneaking their way into the Guardians of the Globe and even the US government. Invincible had to take them down more than once, but they always found a way back. Individually, the Sequids don't look like much. Small, pink, brainy little squid creatures with 3 tentacles. Alone, they're weak and mindless, wandering around without direction. But the moment one takes over a host, the rest connect like puzzle pieces, forming a single terrifying mind. Now that's when they become a real problem. They're ruthless, they're hungry for control, and they're convinced that they can't be stopped. They hold grudges too. After failing to control Invincible, they made it their mission to kill him. And when they lose, they don't give up. They hide, waiting for another chance. Their only weakness? They can't possess beings with tough skin like Viltrumites and Martians. But for anybody else, one Sequid is all it takes. Angstrom Levy wasn't always a monster. In fact, he started out as a man on a mission to save the multiverse. He had a rare gift. He could open portals to different realities, and he wanted to use that power for good. He believed that if he gathered all the knowledge from his alternate selves, he could make the world a better place, but things didn't go as planned. He built a machine with the help of the Mahler twins, hoping to merge his mind with his other versions. Invincible, trying to stop it, accidentally caused the whole thing to explode. Now, the blast didn't just leave Levy horribly disfigured, it broke his mind. Now, with the memories of countless versions of himself, he couldn't tell what was real, and in his shattered mind, one thing became clear. Invincible was to blame. The old Angstrom wanted peace, but this new version was different. Twisted, furious, and out for revenge, he made it his life's goal to destroy Invincible. And he wasn't just any villain, he was smart, smarter than almost anybody. He used his portals to launch surprise attacks, sent armies from other dimensions, and even spied on Invincible's family. He didn't just want Mark dead, he wanted him to suffer. Oh, and his powers made him nearly unstoppable. His enhanced body could take serious damage, and his strength was nothing to joke about either. But his biggest weakness? He couldn't open portals in the same universe, and his damaged mind made him unpredictable. In the end, his obsession with Mark was his downfall, proving that even with infinite knowledge, revenge can blind you completely. Now, if you thought this guy was something else, wait till we get to Thrag here in a bit. Conquest wasn't just any Viltrumite, he was the scariest one. While the others conquered planets for their empire, he did it for fun. He didn't care about ruling, didn't care about expanding, he just wanted to fight, to destroy, to feel bones breaking under his fists. And when he came to Earth, he finally found the battle that he'd been waiting for. But from the moment he laid eyes on Invincible, Conquest was thrilled. He didn't just beat Mark, he humiliated him, pummeling him again and again, all while laughing and thanking him for the entertainment. And when he saw Adam Eve try to step in, he just crushed her right in front of Mark's eyes just to make him suffer even more. But Mark, broken and furious, snapped. He unleashed everything he had, beating Conquest so brutally that it looked like the monster was finally dead. But Conquest wasn't done. He survived. And when he came back during the Viltrumite War, he was even worse. This time he didn't just beat Mark, he almost tore him in half. No villain had ever pushed Invincible that far, and no one else made him suffer that much. It took months for Mark to heal, and without Omni-Man and Oliver, he might not have survived at all. If we talk about strength, Conquest's power was off the charts. Like all Viltrumites, he was insanely strong, fast, and nearly unkillable. He could survive space, heal from brutal injuries, and fight for days without losing steam. But he wasn't unstoppable. His biggest weakness was his ears. A strong enough sound could cripple him. And of course, there was one thing that slowed him down: the cybernetic hand he got after losing his real one in battle. Dinosaurus wasn't your typical villain. He wasn't trying to take over the world or destroy it just for fun. Nah, he thought he was saving it. He believed humans were ruining the planet, so he had to step in and fix things, even if that meant wiping out entire cities. And the craziest part, he wasn't even his own person. He was the alternate personality of a regular guy, David Anders, who transformed into Dinosaurus whenever he got overwhelmed. And when Dinosaurus took over, there was no stopping him. He was a genius, but his mind was twisted. He once blew up all of Las Vegas just to turn the land back into a desert. He felt and thought that destruction was the only way to save the planet. Invincible, after being betrayed by Cecil, actually teamed up with him for a bit, hoping they could do some real good together. But Dinosaurus didn't believe in small changes. He wanted drastic action. So he set off bombs in Greenland, triggering massive floods all over the world. That was the last straw, and Invincible had no choice but to stop him for good. Dinosaurus was incredibly powerful. His strength let him smash through concrete like it was nothing. He could run, jump, and heal himself just by switching back to David and switching back again. His claws and teeth were deadly, unless he was up against somebody like Thrag, who was so strong that Dinosaurus ended up breaking his own claws and teeth trying to hurt him. But what made him truly dangerous wasn't his power. It was his unshakable belief that he was right no matter how many lives he had to destroy. Robot wasn't always a villain. He started as one of the smartest heroes in the Invincible universe, leading both the Teen Team and the Guardians of the Globe. He saved the world plenty of times, but something changed when he got stuck in another dimension with Monster Girl, and that's where things took a dark turn. Trapped in the Flaxen dimension, Robot didn't just survive, he conquered. He became their ruler, controlling the Flaxians with an iron fist for what felt like 1,000 years to him, even though only a few months had passed on Earth. And once he returned, he wasn't the same. He didn't want to be a hero anymore. He wanted to rule Earth just like he did in the Flaxen world. He did try to get rid of anybody who could stop him, even trapping Invincible in another dimension. He wiped out heroes, villains, anybody in his way. And in the end, he won. He struck a deal with the Viltrumites, making sure that nobody could kill him, and took control of the Global Defense Agency. Robot's real force wasn't his strength, it was his mind. He was a genius, creating all kinds of advanced robots that he controlled like an army. His skill in engineering, computers, and tactics made him almost unstoppable. But for all of his intelligence, he struggled with basic human emotions. He never fully understood social cues and didn't know how to deal with fear. Once he started fighting in person instead of hiding behind his machines, he panicked, realizing he wasn't as untouchable as he thought. But by then it was already too late. He'd already taken over the world. Thrag isn't just another villain. He's the strongest Viltrumite to ever live. He was born and raised for one purpose: to rule. When the Viltrumite Emperor was killed, Thrag led a brutal civil war, wiping out the weak and leaving only the strongest behind. With the Empire now in his hands, he set his sights on the universe, conquering planet after planet with no mercy. But then came the Viltrumite War. Invincible and the coalition of planets fought back, and for the first time, Thrag lost. His empire fell, but he refused to be defeated. Instead of running, he built a new army. He bred with an alien race called the Thraxans, creating an army of pure Viltrumite children, all trained to be warriors. Thrag wanted revenge, and he almost got it. His final battle with Invincible took them to the surface of the sun, where Invincible finally managed to kill him. Impressively, Thrag's power was beyond anything most beings could imagine. He was insanely strong, could fly at crazy speeds, and barely even aged. His body could heal from almost any injury, and he could survive in space for weeks without food or air. His senses were so sharp that he could hear things from miles away. And unlike most Viltrumites, he wasn't just powerful, he was a master of combat, trained from birth to be the ultimate warrior. But for all of his strength, he wasn't unstoppable. High-frequency sounds could mess up his balance, and enough force could bring him down. But it took everything Invincible had, and the heat of the sun, to finally end Thrag for good. Mark Grayson was supposed to be a hero. In most worlds he is, but in some he became the worst villain imaginable. One version, known as Sinister Mark, turned into something far darker. He didn't just betray Earth, he betrayed everything that he once believed in. It all started when he met Angstrom, who had gathered different versions of Mark from across the multiverse. He wanted them to destroy Invincible's good name, and in return, he promised them unlimited access to other worlds to conquer. But Angstrom was a liar. When he got what he wanted, he turned on them, stranding the surviving Marks in a dead, lifeless version of Earth. Desperate to survive, Sinister Mark did the unthinkable. He started eating his own alternate selves. Despite this, Sinister Mark wasn't always like this. He once had a life similar to the Mark we know, but something pushed him down a darker path. In his world, he was closer to his father, Omni-Man, and that connection led him straight into the Viltrumite Empire's ranks. He embraced their brutal ways, killing anybody in his path. He wiped out entire civilizations, slaughtered heroes, and even murdered his own mother in cold blood. He was so ruthless that he even terrified his own version of Angstrom, going as far as to kill his son just to make him suffer. The scariest part, Sinister Mark proves just how easily Invincible could have turned out the same way. Every version of Mark faces the same struggles. The only difference is that some fall, and when they do, they don't get back up. Okay, so nobody really knows where Universe came from. Nobody knows the name of her planet, where it is, or how Earth even got on her radar. But when she arrived, she came with one goal: to steal Earth's energy to save her own dying world. And she wasn't asking for permission. Universe didn't waste any time. She landed and immediately attacked a nuclear power plant, using her powerful staff of leadership to wipe out any resistance. The local authorities? Useless. She was way too strong and Earth had no way to stop her. At least that's what she thought. What Universe didn't realize was that the power plant was protected by Invincible Inc., and the young Viltrumite hero, Invincible, wasn't about to let her destroy his planet. He and Adam Eve rushed to stop her, but Universe didn't care. She warned them to stay out of her way, but when that didn't work, she fought back. And with her staff, she was a real threat. But power wasn't enough. Universe was tough, but Invincible was tougher. And when she lost her staff, it was all over. Adam Eve knocked her out with a single punch, and just like that, her invasion was over before it even began. She was locked up at Stronghold Penitentiary, spending a year in solitary confinement after nearly killing 3 guards. Then, after the Viltrumite War, Invincible visited her with an offer. Instead of taking all of Earth's energy, she could take just enough to buy her people time. When she finally left, she gave Invincible a strange, knowing smile, almost like she knew that they would meet again. Russ Livingston had one job: go to Mars, plant the flag, and come back home. Easy enough, right? Well, not quite, because on that trip something terrible happened, and Russ, he never made it back, at least not really. Russ was just an astronaut doing his duty when his mission took a turn for the worse. Mars wasn't empty. The astronauts were captured by Martians who weren't too happy about their visit, but the real danger wasn't the Martians, it was the Sequits, terrifying parasites that could turn a single person into the mind of an entire army. If they lashed onto a solid host, they could take over the universe. The Martians knew this, so they decided there was only one way to protect themselves: kill Russ and his crew before it was too late. Lucky for us, Invincible showed up just in time to save them, or at least that's what everybody thought. The astronauts escaped, rushed back to their ship, and blasted off toward Earth, but here's the twist: Russ wasn't on that ship. The Martians had switched him with a shapeshifter. The real Russ was left behind and sacrificed to the Sequits. With no way out, Russ became their host, their leader, their puppet. His mind, his body, it wasn't his anymore. Meanwhile, the imposter on Earth lived out Russ's life, ruining his reputation before becoming the so-called hero Shapesmith. But the real Russ, he was gone. His body was just a shell, controlled by the creatures that had taken everything from him. In the end, the Sequits devoured what was left, leaving nothing behind but their hunger for more. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to show your support by liking and subscribing.